Now, if you want to increase the number of clients that you bring in and increase your revenues, one of the most effective sources or methods to do that is through referrals. And this is part 2 of this conversation when it comes to getting referrals from your employees. It is one of the best ways to get referrals. And referrals from your employees are typically high quality referrals because your employees should know your products inside and out. They should know your products and services way better than your users. If they don't, that's something that you absolutely need to take into consideration. Do your employees have the proper training to be able to talk about the product features and benefits and the importance of having your products and services? And the reason why I say this is I'm very astonished sometimes in terms of how much consumers know about a particular product or service more than the employees of that business. It's actually quite embarrassing. So if your clients, your consumers know more about your products and services than your employees do, you got to provide them more training, more product and service knowledge so that they are actually, you can say, knowledgeable and experts. So that means that you might want to make sure that they are users and what we call extreme users of your products and services. Think about this. If your employees are not using your products and services, perhaps they don't have a need for it, but let's just say there is a need for your products and services that your employees could take advantage of by using your product and service, then they absolutely should. So that is the first place where you start in terms of getting referrals from your employees is, do they know your products and services inside and out? The second is the culture. Now, your people should be passionate about working for your organization, passionate about your mission, passionate about your vision. And it's not always possible to have every single person, so 100% of your team members passionate about your products and services, but it should be significantly at a higher level. And if you don't have those people who are passionate about working for your business, then you need to take a look at your hiring strategy. Perhaps you don't have the right people, you're not bringing in the right people to hire and train in the first place, or perhaps you're not creating the culture that is needed to create a passionate environment. Why is passion so important? Because you will not be able to get your employees to bring in new business, to refer their family and friends and all those other people in their social circle to use your products and services unless they're absolutely passionate about it. There has to be this certain level of energy. The more energy that you have, the more referrals that you'll get from your employees. You can also compensate your employees for bringing in referrals. Now, if you have a sales force, then obviously that should be part of their compensation package. But what do you do with employees that are not part of your sales force? And how do you compensate them? Well, it depends on your business, depends on your product and service, and it depends on the culture that you have. But I personally believe, and through our experience and what we've tried and tested, is that you should compensate all of your employees for business that they bring in. Now, some people might think that's unfair, but I don't seem to believe that, because if people are bringing in business and it's increasing your revenues, they should definitely be compensated if it's outside of their role. They're actually going above and beyond their role to be able to help you increase your revenues. So you could do that based on a percentage of profit, percentage of revenue, whatever it may be. Obviously, you want to do it from a smart perspective where you want to make sure it's not costing you, but you have to take a look at it from an incremental perspective as well. If every new client you bring in, you get an extra $1,000 of profit per year, and you got to make sure that you calculate that profit properly, and you got to make sure that it's all of the costs are attributed so that you're not missing out on anything. But let's just say your business is making an extra $1,000. Then you can absolutely compensate your team members even up to 500%. So how much do you compensate them? Here's my rule of thumb, up to 50% of the actual net profit. Because that incremental profit is just helping your bottom line. It's helping you so you can actually use those dollars elsewhere. If you were to spend that, let's just say if it's $1,000 net profit, you gave your employee $500. The other option is you take that $500 and you put it into marketing. And guess what? Most marketing is not effective. In fact, I know a lot of organizations, they waste a lot of their money when it comes to marketing. And it goes back to that old saying, 50% of your marketing dollars is basically thrown in the garbage because you just don't know if it's working or not. But if you're compensating based on performance, you know it's working. You have a direct measure that it's working. So why not, instead of putting that money into marketing dollars that may or may not be working, put that towards your internal marketing force, because you know that you're making X amount of money, and B, it's actually benefiting your employees. So I would pay my employees all day long for them to bring in new business, because that's a more effective route. Now I don't have to focus so much on marketing efforts. And as an entrepreneur or an executive leader, whatever your role is, you can bet that marketing is one of the most frustrating aspects of business, because a lot of it just doesn't work. And it's constant trial and error. And things are changing so fast that it's hard to keep up these days. Facebook algorithms, buying patterns in terms of media, whatever it may be, they change. And they can cost a lot of money. And you don't have a lot of control over it, unless you're a massive organization and you can actually control the media. But very few organizations have that power. But that just leads to the whole point here, is that if you want your marketing dollars to go that much further, get your internal marketing team, which is your employees, to do it for you. So let me just bring this all together here. If you want to make more money, you want to increase your revenues, you do it through getting more clients. That's one of the ways. Get your employees to help you do that and compensate for them to do that. But there is a caveat, and that caveat is that they need to know your products and services inside and out, and they need to be absolutely passionate about working for your organization and the mission and the values and the products and services you deliver. If you are able to do that, if you have passionate people working for you and they're out there raving about you, then you can easily get more referrals just by asking your staff to do that for you and compensate them to do that. Because a lot of people may do that on their own goodwill, but if you compensate them, they're more likely to do it. So focus on getting more referrals from your employees, and your business will grow.